The week before my wedding, I thought my biggest problem was whether the flower arrangements would survive the summer heat. That's how small my world was then. Centered on invitations, seating charts, and a dress that fit just right. I thought stress meant my mother fussing over the table settings, or my fiancé, Daniel, getting nervous about his vows. I didn't know that stress was about to mean something else entirely. Something that would split my life into before and after. It started at the rehearsal dinner. The room was glowing with golden lights, filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and the warmth of family. Daniel squeezed my hand under the table, grinning like we were already married. My dad, no, the man I thought was my dad, stood up to give a toast. He cleared his throat, nervous, but his eyes shone with pride. To my daughter, he said, raising his glass, you've always been the brightest light in my life. I can't wait to see the woman you'll become in this new chapter. I felt tears sting my eyes. He was never the most eloquent man, but his love was always steady, unshakable. Everyone clapped, and I leaned my head against his shoulder as he sat down. Then my aunt spoke up. To think, she laughed, a little too loud after her third glass of wine, if Marie had her way back then, none of us would even be here celebrating today. The table went silent. My mother's smile froze, tight and brittle. What's that supposed to mean? I asked, half joking, trying to keep the mood light. Nothing. My aunt waved her hand. Just, secrets. We all have them. She winked, but her eyes darted toward my mom. And just like that, a shadow slipped into the room. The rest of the night went on like normal, but my mother barely spoke. She laughed too loudly at jokes that weren't funny, avoided my eyes when I tried to catch hers. My dad carried the conversation, oblivious, but something had cracked beneath the surface. Later, when everyone had gone home and the house was quiet, I found Mom in the kitchen, sitting at the table with her hands wrapped around a cold cup of tea. What was that about? I asked. She looked up, startled, like she hadn't heard me come in. What? Aunt Carol, that weird comment she made. Her lips tightened. Your aunt doesn't know when to keep her mouth shut. That wasn't nothing, I pressed. What did she mean? She stood abruptly, taking her tea to the sink. It was years ago. It doesn't matter now. Mom, drop it. Her voice snapped sharp, sharper than I'd ever heard it. Then softer. Please, honey, just focus on your wedding. That's all that matters. But I couldn't drop it. That night, lying in bed next to Daniel, her words played over and over in my head. It was years ago. It doesn't matter now. People don't say that about nothing. The next day, little things started to unravel. When I went to pick up my wedding dress, the seamstress, an old family friend, smiled at me and said, "You look so much like your mother. Not so much your father, though." It was a harmless comment, one she probably didn't think twice about, but it lodged in me like a splinter. Later, at the church, my cousin pulled me aside, whispering, "Do you ever wonder why you don't look like Uncle David? I mean, you've got none of his features. Not his eyes, not his build, nothing." She laughed like it was a joke, but my stomach churned. I had wondered before. Kids always do, comparing themselves to their parents. But I dismissed it. I had my mother's brown hair, her smile. Who cared if my dad and I didn't share the same jawline? Now, though, it felt like a chorus of whispers, everyone seeing something I hadn't. That night, I dug out an old photo album. Pages of birthdays, vacations, Christmas mornings. Dad holding me as a baby, pushing me on swings, teaching me how to ride a bike. His love was written in every picture. But when I looked closer, I saw it, the absence. Not in him, but in me. His dark hair, his strong nose, his broad shoulders, none of it echoed in my face. I slammed the album shut. My heart hammered like I'd uncovered something forbidden. The next morning, I confronted Mom again. "Tell me the truth," I said, cornering her in the hallway before she could escape. "Am I Dad's daughter?" Her face drained of color. "Of course you are," she said, but her voice wavered. "Don't lie to me." She gripped the edge of the table like she needed it to stand. "This isn't the time. You're getting married in 3 days. Please, just..." "Mom." My voice broke. "I need to know." Her eyes filled with tears. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Finally, she whispered, "Not now. After the wedding, I promise." But I couldn't wait, because once you see the cracks, you can't unsee them. That night, I searched through the attic. Boxes of old letters, keepsakes, things my parents thought I'd never touch. And at the bottom of one box, beneath yellowed baby clothes, I found a folded envelope. My name written on the front. Hands shaking, I opened it. The letter inside was dated before I was born. From a man I'd never heard of. "Marie, if you're reading this, it means you've chosen a life without me in it. But know this, I will always love our child, even if she never knows who I am." The world tilted. My breath caught. The words blurred through my tears. Child. Our child. I dropped the letter, my hands numb. It wasn't a suspicion anymore. It wasn't a cruel joke or a cousin's careless comment. It was the truth. The man who raised me wasn't my father. And my mother had known all these years and never told me. And the worst part? She hadn't planned to tell me at all. Not until someone else forced her hand. My wedding was in 3 days, and my entire life had just been rewritten. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the floor of the attic with the letter still in my lap, staring at the handwriting of a man whose name meant nothing to me, but whose blood was in my veins. The silence of the house pressed down on me until I felt like I couldn't breathe. By sunrise, I knew I couldn't keep this to myself. I stormed into the kitchen, letter in hand. Mom was at the stove, humming softly as she flipped pancakes, like nothing in the world had shifted. I slammed the paper onto the counter. Her head snapped up, spatula still in hand. "Where did you find this?" "You lied to me," I said, my voice shaking. "All these years. You let me grow up believing Dad was my father." She set the spatula down, her face pale. "Please, not so loud. Don't you dare tell me to be quiet." My words cut through the air like glass. "Who is he?" Her lips pressed together. Tears gathered in her eyes, but she blinked them away. "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me." My chest heaved. "I have a right to know who my father is." "He's no one," she whispered. "He's not part of our lives." Before I could reply, Dad walked in. He froze when he saw the letter on the counter, his eyes flicking from the paper to Mom's face. "What's going on?" he asked slowly. Mom's voice cracked. "David, I can explain." His hands trembled as he picked up the letter. He read it, silent, his face draining of color with each word. When he finished, he dropped it like it burned. "You told me." His voice was raw, like something inside him was breaking. "You told me she was mine." "I thought," Mom's words faltered. "I thought it was better that way." "You let me raise her," he said, his voice rising. "You let me believe." He turned to me, his eyes wet. "Sweetheart, I swear, I didn't know." I couldn't look at either of them. My chest felt like it might collapse. I ran out of the kitchen, down the hall, out the door. The morning sun was too bright, too cruel against the storm inside me. Daniel found me hours later, sitting on the swings at the old park. He sat next to me, not saying anything at first. Then he asked, "What happened?" I told him everything. The letter, the lies, the way my entire identity had been shattered in a single night. He listened, his jaw tight, his eyes searching mine. "So, what are you going to do?" "I don't know," I whispered. "I don't even know who I am anymore." "Do you still want to get married?" he asked carefully. The question hit me like a punch. I hadn't even thought that far ahead. My wedding, the day I'd been planning for months, now seemed like a cruel joke. How could I stand up in front of everyone and promise forever when my whole life had been a lie? When we got back to the house, the tension was unbearable. Dad was in the living room, his hands buried in his hair. Mom sat on the couch, staring blankly at the wall. Neither spoke as I walked past them to my room. That night, I overheard them arguing. "You should have told me," Dad said, his voice hoarse. "I deserve to know." "I was scared," Mom replied. "I thought you'd leave. You should have given me the choice." Silence stretched. Then Mom whispered, "I never wanted her to find out. Not like this." The words cut deeper than any blade. She never wanted me to find out. My entire existence was something she thought I should be shielded from. The next day, family started arriving early for the wedding. Aunts, uncles, cousins. The house buzzed with chatter, but beneath it all, I could feel the tension simmering. At dinner, Aunt Carol, the one who'd slipped up at the rehearsal, pulled me aside. "You know, don't you?" she asked softly. I nodded, unable to speak. She sighed. "We all thought you should have been told. But your mother, she wanted to bury it." "Who is he?" I asked, desperate. Do you know?" Her eyes flicked toward the window, where Mom was laughing too loudly at a cousin's joke. Then back to me. "Yes. And if you want the truth, you'll have to dig for it yourself. Your mother won't give it to you." My stomach dropped. That night, I searched again. In the attic, in the drawers, in the old boxes Mom thought I'd never touch. And I found another letter. This one tucked inside a book of pressed flowers. It was from the same man. "I dream about the day she'll ask about me. Please don't erase me completely. She has a right to know who she is." This time, the letter was signed. His name was Michael. The name meant nothing to me. But to Mom, it must have meant everything once. The wedding was now 2 days away, and my life was unraveling faster than I could hold it together. And then, the next morning, the doorbell rang. I opened the door, and there he was. A man in his 50s, eyes tired but sharp, holding a small gift bag in his hands. "Hello," he said quietly. "I'm Michael. I think I'm your father." The world went quiet when he said it. Michael, my father. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. His presence filled the doorway, and behind him, the morning light poured in like it was trying to burn away the shadows of every lie I'd been living under. I didn't move, didn't answer. "I know this is a shock," he continued, his voice calm, almost rehearsed. "I've waited a long time for this. Too long." Behind me, I heard footsteps. Mom's voice. "Who is it, honey?" When she saw him, the color drained from her face. Her lips parted, but no words came out. She staggered like she'd seen a ghost. "Hello, Claire," Michael said, his tone sharper now. "It's been a long time." Mom's hand went to her chest. "You can't be here." But he ignored her. His eyes were on me. "I know this is overwhelming. I don't expect you to accept me right away. But I had to come. I had to meet you before..." He cut himself off, glancing at the house, the noise of family inside preparing for my wedding. Dad appeared in the hallway, confusion on his face. Who's at the... He stopped mid-sentence when he saw Michael. His expression hardened instantly. You. You know him? I whispered. Dad's jaw clenched. I know enough. The air was electric, like a storm had broken inside the house. My hands trembled as I gripped the doorframe. Somebody explain to me what's going on, now. Mom stepped forward, panic in her eyes. Please, sweetheart, let's not do this here. Not like this. No more lies, I snapped. My voice cracked, but I didn't care. Who is he? Mom looked at me, then at Dad, then back at Michael. Her silence was an answer in itself. Michael's gaze softened. I'm your father. The words rang out, undeniable and yet surreal. Dad's face twisted, years of suppressed pain surfacing in a single moment. Don't you dare stand there and claim that. Michael raised his hands, palms open. I didn't come here to fight with you, David. I came here for her. For her? Dad's voice broke. Where were you when she was born? When she was sick as a baby? When she cried at night? When she took her first steps? When she called me daddy? You had your chance, and you threw it away. Michael flinched, but his eyes stayed on me. I didn't leave because I wanted to. I was pushed out. Liar! Mom's voice was sharp now, desperate. You chose your life, Michael. You chose to walk away. Don't you dare twist this now. My head was spinning. Every sentence felt like a hammer to the foundation of everything I thought I knew. Stop, I shouted, my voice cut through their chaos. I don't care who said what 25 years ago. I want the truth. All of it. Silence. 3 sets of eyes on me, each filled with something different. Love, anger, regret. Finally, Michael spoke. His voice was steady, but full of weight. Your mother and I, we were young, stupid. We fell in love quickly. Too quickly. But when she found out she was pregnant, everything changed. Mom's lips trembled. Don't do this. She told me she wanted stability, security. She said I wasn't ready, that I couldn't provide what she and the baby needed. She told me to go. His eyes glistened. I didn't want to leave. I begged her to let me stay, but she pushed me away, told me never to come back, said she'd found someone else who could be a better father. His gaze shifted to Dad. David's face was stone. That someone was me, Dad said flatly. My stomach dropped. So you knew? Dad looked at me, his eyes wet. Not at first. She told me later. But by then it didn't matter. You were mine. You've always been mine. The words, meant to comfort, only deepened the crack in my chest. Because now I knew. He wasn't my father by blood, only by choice. And my mother had built this entire life on a lie. I staggered back, pressing my hand against the wall for balance. The hallway spun around me. Sweetheart, Mom reached for me. Don't. My voice was ice. Don't you dare touch me. Her hand froze in midair. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Michael stepped forward cautiously. I know this is too much. I know I've missed everything that matters. But I'm here now. If you want answers, I'll give them. If you want me gone, I'll go. But please don't shut the door without knowing who I am. Behind him, the sound of laughter drifted from the living room where my cousins were playing cards, oblivious to the explosion happening just feet away. And then Daniel appeared at the top of the stairs, his tie half knotted, confusion on his face. What's going on down here? I looked at him, at the man I was supposed to marry tomorrow, and I saw his eyes dart between Michael, Mom, and Dad. He read the tension instantly. Someone tell me what I just walked into, he demanded. I opened my mouth to explain, but the words stuck. My throat closed. Mom spoke instead, her voice breaking. Daniel, this is Michael. He's her biological father. The silence that followed was unbearable. Daniel's jaw dropped. His eyes snapped to mine. Is that true? Tears blurred my vision. I nodded. His shoulders tensed, his face hardening as if something inside him had just locked into place. And then he asked the question that shattered everything. If your mom lied to you your whole life, how do I know you won't lie to me too? The words cut deeper than anything Michael or Mom had said. My fiancé, my partner, my future, looked at me with suspicion, as though my mother's sins had somehow infected me. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. And in that suffocating silence, Mom collapsed onto the stairs, sobbing. Dad turned away, his fists clenched. Michael stood frozen, unsure whether to stay or leave. And I realized my wedding might not just be at risk. My entire life was unraveling, thread by thread. The night before my wedding was supposed to be a blur of nerves, excitement, last-minute details. Instead, it was a battlefield. I sat alone in my childhood bedroom, staring at my reflection in the vanity mirror. My makeup from earlier had smudged under swollen eyes. My hair, half-styled, hung limp around my shoulders. The dress bag still hung on the closet door, unopened. I couldn't even look at it. Because in less than 24 hours, I was supposed to walk down an aisle and pledge forever to a man who had just looked at me like I was a stranger. Daniel's words replayed in my head, jagged and relentless. If your mom lied to you your whole life, how do I know you won't lie to me too? It didn't matter that I hadn't lied. It didn't matter that I was just as blindsided as he was. In that one sentence, he'd planted a seed of doubt that could destroy everything. A soft knock broke the silence. Dad's voice came through the door. Can I come in? I didn't answer, but the door creaked open anyway. He stepped inside, carrying 2 mugs of tea. His face looked older tonight, the weight of decades pressing down all at once. I thought you could use something warm, he said, setting one on the nightstand. He sat down carefully at the edge of the bed, leaving space between us. I stared at the mug, but didn't touch it. You knew, I whispered. He sighed, long and heavy. Not right away. Your mom told me after we got serious. She said you weren't mine by blood, but it didn't matter to me. From the first time you called me daddy, you were mine. Nothing could change that. Except, it wasn't the truth. His eyes softened. Sometimes love matters more than blood. Or maybe lies matter more, I snapped. He flinched, but didn't argue. I can't undo the choice your mom made, and I can't take away the hurt it caused. But I can promise you this. Every scraped knee, every school recital, every late-night fever, I was there. I chose to be there. Not because I had to, because I wanted to. The tears came before I could stop them. My voice broke. Then why does it feel like I've lost everything? He reached for my hand. Because part of you has. But not all of you. You still have me. You still have the love you've built with Daniel, even if it feels shaken right now. You still have your future, even if it looks different than you imagined. I pulled my hand away, trembling. What if Daniel leaves me? What if this ruins everything? Dad's jaw tightened. If he loves you, truly loves you, then he'll see the truth. You are not your mother's lie. Silence settled between us. I could feel him wanting to say more, but instead, he kissed my forehead and whispered, try to rest. When he left, I finally reached for the tea. It was still warm, but bitter on my tongue. Sleep never came. Morning sunlight cut through the curtains like knives. My wedding day. Downstairs, the house buzzed with noise. Relatives laughing, children running, hairspray clouds drifting from the living room where my bridesmaids gathered. But in my chest, there was only dread. When I finally stepped out of my room, Michael was sitting at the kitchen table. My biological father. His hands were folded, his posture stiff, like he didn't quite know where he belonged. Our eyes met, and for a moment, the noise around us faded. You look just like her, he said softly. The day we met, she wore her hair the same way. Mom froze at the counter, coffee mug in hand. The words cut her like glass. I swallowed hard. Why are you here? He stood slowly. Because I need to tell you the rest, before you make vows you can't take back. My stomach clenched. The rest? His eyes flicked to Mom. She hasn't told you everything, not even close. Mom's mug shattered on the floor. Stop it, Michael. But he didn't stop. His voice grew stronger, clearer. Your mother didn't just push me away for security. She pushed me away because she didn't want anyone to know the truth about how you were conceived. The room froze. What are you talking about? My voice shook. Mom rushed forward, her face pale. Don't listen to him. He's trying to ruin today. Ruin everything. Michael cut her off. She was already with David when we met, already engaged. But she wasn't faithful. She told me she loved me, that she'd leave him. But when she got pregnant, she panicked. She realized the scandal would destroy her perfect image, so she stayed with David. She let him believe he was rescuing her, that I was some mistake from before. But it wasn't like that. She lied to both of us. Every word hit me like a hammer. Mom grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. He's lying, sweetheart. You have to believe me. Am I? Michael shot back. Or do you remember the night at that cabin by the lake? The night you swore you'd never regret choosing me? Her face crumbled. Silence. The truth hung in the air, undeniable. I stumbled back, my chest tight. So my whole existence was a betrayal? Mom collapsed into a chair, sobbing. I just wanted a normal life for you, a stable family, a father who wouldn't disappoint you like he would have. Michael's voice shook with rage. You don't get to rewrite history, Claire. You lied to her, to all of us. The room spun. Bridesmaids stared, whispers buzzing. My aunts exchanged horrified glances. And Daniel stood in the doorway, pale, his jaw set like stone. He looked at me with that same doubt in his eyes. Not pity, not sympathy, doubt. And I knew then. This wedding wasn't happening. The weight of generations of lies had crushed it before it even began. Cancel it, I whispered. My voice was hollow. Cancel the wedding. Gas filled the room. Daniel blinked. Are you serious? I looked at him, at the man I thought I knew, the man who once swore he'd stand by me through anything. You don't trust me, and I don't even know who I am anymore. How could we vow forever like this? He opened his mouth, but no words came. The silence was the answer. I turned and walked away, leaving behind the dress, the flowers, the guests. Leaving behind the man I thought I'd marry. Leaving behind the illusion of the life I thought I knew. But as I stepped out into the sunlight, one thought burned in my mind. This wasn't over. Because buried in my mother's sobs and Michael's fury was a secret still unspoken. And I wasn't going to stop until I unearthed it.